This man poured a bottle of poison down the cliff. He hoped to protect his son's body from being devoured by vultures. But just after they turned to leave, a huge vulture quietly landed beside the boy and pecked down hard. The sharp pain jolted the boy awake. He desperately grabbed the vulture and threw it off the cliff. Once he was fully conscious, he realized he was lying at the edge of the cliff. He frantically called out for his father but never received any response. Seeking one last chance at survival, he immediately decided to climb down the cliff. But the next second, his foot slipped and he nearly fell. Fortunately, he managed to grab a crack in the rock face and didn't let himself drop. But now his entire body was suspended in midair. Looking at the countless animal carcasses below the cliff, he was terrified. What's worse, the clouds above suddenly changed. A violent storm swept in, making the rock face slippery and nearly impossible to climb. His hands gradually began losing their grip. Watching the water level below rising rapidly, he gritted his teeth, then gathered his courage and leaped. The next day, a sharp pain woke the boy again. His foot was unfortunately injured. He crawled with difficulty toward a puddle and greedily drank the rainwater mixed with mud and sand. After resting briefly, he removed his shoe and discovered his ankle was severely swollen. So he wedged his ankle between two rocks and forcefully reset the displaced bone. The excruciating pain nearly made him pass out. Afterward, he found some branches to make a splint to stabilize his injured leg. But just as he caught his breath, he was horrified to discover several wolves staring at him intently. He immediately dragged his injured leg and ran for his life. Seeing a large tree ahead, he struggled to climb up, but suddenly, one of the wolves bit his foot. In this critical moment, the boy pulled out a knife and stabbed it hard into the wolf's heart. Then he seized the opportunity to climb up the tree and saved his life. But the pack didn't leave. They kept pacing back and forth below the tree. It wasn't until the next morning that the pack finally dispersed, leaving only the wolf he had stabbed behind. He initially wanted to kill it on the spot, but when his eyes met those helpless eyes, his heart ultimately softened. So he used his belt to tie the wolf's mouth shut, carried it into a cave, and helped clean its wounds and apply herbal medicine. Under the boy's careful care, the wolf slowly came back to life. The boy dragged his injured leg out to forage for food. Luckily, he quickly hunted a wild rabbit. But when he returned to the cave and was about to roast the meat over a fire, the wolf stared straight at the food and couldn't help but pounce on it. The boy raised his hand and drove it away, then tore off a piece of raw meat and put it in his own mouth, showing it who was boss. From that moment on, the wolf was completely conquered by the boy. As time slowly passed, their injuries finally healed. They set out together on the road home. No matter how fierce the wild beasts they encountered, the wolf always stepped in front of him without hesitation. But when a blizzard arrived, every step became incredibly difficult. Even worse, they encountered another pack of wild animals charging at them. They could only hide in a cave temporarily, but what he never expected was that a lion was lurking inside the cave. The wolf didn't hesitate for a second before rushing forward to fight the lion to the death, but against absolute strength, it couldn't hold out for long. In the nick of time, the boy pulled out his bow and arrow and hit the lion right in its vital spot with one shot. Though they narrowly escaped, the wolf had been severely injured by the bite, so the boy cut meat from the lion and fed it to the wolf, hoping it could pull through. After resting, he held the dying wolf in his arms and continued moving forward step by step. After what felt like forever, he finally saw the outline of the village. His father saw that familiar figure from afar. He never imagined his son was still alive. If you want to watch the complete story, this movie is called Alpha.